Somebody's asking, how often do you do this? Well, formally, once a day, but many, many times a day.
That's true.
And sometimes we notice that within 15 minutes, the alignment is once more lost because the astrals are that turbulent.
That's true.
So we're pumping up the dead, up through wherever pan is working below, up through the spines of the host lives, through the big channels of the visiting souls, up to the highest powers we can connect with right now, who are working to shorten the karmic cycles for ground zero planet Earth, each of us for ourselves. And from there we look up for higher powers who are also adjusting for past failures. And we find this to be a key step.
That's true.
And often right then it goes much higher.
That's true.
And then from there we look up for higher powers who are invoking instant karma for ground zero planet Earth, each of us for ourselves. Not just shortening the karmic cycles, but really moving to instant karma because we need a turnaround. And the faster we know we're messing up, the faster we'll be able to make a different choice.
That's true.
And we really think that instant karma is a gift, a beautiful gift, and not a punishment. We think it's a help.
Yeah, that's true.
So then we continue up from there, attempting to find higher presences who are invoking instant karma, not just for ground zero planet Earth, each of us for ourselves, but also for all who pass through ground zero planet Earth, each of us for ourselves, meaning including the astral presences who are passing through, the dead people who are passing through, the angelic people who are passing through, etc.
That's
Truly
true.
everybody who's passing through this planet dimension combo pack for instant karma to apply to all equally. And there are some.
That's true. Way up there.
Way up there, and we find them. And then from there we look up and ask for higher powers who are invoking instant karma for themselves. And usually right about then there's the sense of breaking out into clear space and the light.
That's true.
And up there the air is clear and fresh and you can smell sweet breezes.
That's true.
Now we're here.
Yes.
And then we send up censored data. We just pump up censored data.
Not meaning that we are censoring it
No.
and sending it up.
Data that has been censored out of reports that have been submitted to Spirit.
Yeah.
We have recently, somebody's asking what's going on here. We've recently become aware, unsure who's talking, but we've recently become aware of how thoroughly the reports to Spirit have been censored.
That's true.
And that when an accurate report somehow manages to make its way up through the astrals to the angels and godly presences responsible for planet Earth, that they think it's a crackpot report because it's out of sync with all the censored and sanitized reports that they've been getting.
Exactly.
So we just intend to pump up whatever the data is that's been censored from all those other reports, just to have that data be submitted so that you're getting complete reports.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. And then we burn with an intention to create a tall blue flame, which means that we have to burn with a hot fire. Burning is, somebody's asking, why do you burn anything? It's a way of transmuting energy and to transmute it as cleanly as possible. So we burn to create the tall blue flame. All of the identified errors of the day, and we pick them from these probably roughly 50 items. There's 45 lines, but several of them have multiples on the lines, might be 60.
Maybe 60, that's true.
Of the common error patterns of all who pass through this dimension.
That's true.
And then we end with a prayer. And right now our prayer is, please may we have an experiment of weekly karma, each of us for ourselves, for Ground Zero Planet Earth, and for all who pass through Ground Zero Planet Earth, each of us for ourselves, just for an experiment, and to have the whole week to realize that we were being ridiculous and to clean up our errors, but then to have the accounting delivered weekly rather than when we're dead and it's too late to make amends.
Yes, that's true.
And so that's our prayer. Oh Lord, hear our prayer. Please may we have an experiment of weekly karma, each of us for ourselves, for Ground Zero Planet Earth, and for all who pass through Ground Zero Planet Earth, each of us for ourselves. And now we're down to here.
Yes.
But we're going to now have to go through the list of common errors, and these are the errors that we burn to create the tall blue flame, which is simply a way of transmuting energy.
Yes.
So we connect with the energy of the error, we find it in ourselves and transmute it. And somebody's asking about the tall blue flame, and it's something that has been foretold in many dimensions.
That's true.
It's a signal that means it's action time. It's a strong call to action. In many societies and civilizations, when one sees the tall blue flame, one is supposed to drop everything and act.
That's true.
So that's why we're going for the tall blue flame in answer to someone's question. And they're saying, how did you know that? And it came through an era when we were working with Red Samuel.
That's right.
Samuel Vinavanov, and there's two it's a family name.
That's true.
As there's two streams of Samuels, and one has been identified as Red Samuel and the other is Blue Samuel, but it's just like a way of distinguishing between Samuels.
That's true.
It came through them. So far, so good?
So far, so good.
Okay, so now item number 1. Oh, this is one of those lines that has a whole bunch of things on it. It has maybe 10 things on the first line. Okay, so selfishness is an error. It doesn't actually work. Ingratitude, it's an error. It doesn't actually work. Dodging responsibility, it's an error. It doesn't actually work. Lying, big, huge error, enormous error, doesn't actually work.
That's true.
Cheating, enormous errors, they don't work. Stealing, big mistake, bad karma scheme. And bullying, a really, really important bad karma scheme. So selfishness, ingratitude, dodging responsibility, lying, cheating, stealing, bullying. Those are the first 7 items on the error list.
That's true.
But it's still all under item number 1.
Yes.
And the next error is being stingy with gratitude.
That's true.
And then the last of this line, active ingratitude. And these are extremely common error patterns. This line number 1, these are what we refer to as foundational errors because they're present almost everywhere. Are there other planets that have that kind of dysfunction that have been turned around? And if so, what worked? And now we also have all these other items, so we'd like to get some more on the table so you get a feel for the level of dysfunction. Okay, please?
I don't feel closing the portal.
Okay, so item number 2, thinking that rules don't matter. And there's all kinds of different flavors of this.
That's true.
Thinking that those rules don't matter or these rules don't matter. Thinking that rules don't apply in this situation.
Yeah.
Thinking that rules don't apply to me.
Yes.
Thinking that those rules don't apply to me in this situation.
Yes.
Or these rules don't apply in this situation to me.
Yes.
And then there's also rule breaking, just straight up rule breaking. I know that rule applies to me, but I don't care. I'm going to break it anyway.
Yes.
And then there's being unrepentant for rule breaking. I broke the rule.
And I don't care.
And I don't care.
That's right.
So far, so good?
So far, so good, but we should go quickly because I don't know if they're going to keep it open.
I don't know. And then there's, if we go too quickly,
then we won't get it.
We don't get it. So then there's bad intent, which is different.
No, that's true.
When we've burnt all the rules, the rule-breaking labels, then if we come to bad intent, there's still something to burn. It's
That's
different. True. And then after all that, there's also good-hearted interdimensional misunderstandings.
That's true.
And they do exist. They do occur. The interdimensional work is tricky and things are often misidentified. It can happen. And right under that, there's wishful thinking. Now we're to number 6. We're picking up the pace. We're making progress. There's wishful thinking, lying to myself.
That's true.
An addiction to fantasy.
That's true.
And this is enormous. This addiction to fantasy in Ground Zero Planet Earth. It's so thick. It's almost everywhere. It's tempting to say it is everywhere.
That's true.
And we think that this combination of bad intent and addiction to fantasy, selfishness, ingratitude, dodging responsibility, lying, cheating, stealing, bullying, stinginess with gratitude, this is really a toxic brew. And when planets with that combination have karma delayed until after death, how have those planets been turned around? What has worked to turn around those planets?
I don't hear anything.
The portal's still open. There's still airflow through the portal. Okay, so we've gotten through the first 6 items. There's 45.
Yes.
Let us swing down to the bottom because there's some really important ones down at the bottom. There's this pretending that not stopping bullies is different from siding with bullies. There's, I don't want to do it and you can't make me.
That's true.
There's denying the existence of powers over us. And this is foundational. There's really a lot of it.
That's true.
There's denying we are accountable for our soul plans. This is also foundational. There's a lot of it.
That's true.
Pretending that because karma is delayed, it does not exist. Those are at the bottom.
That's true.
There's also pretending that previous gifts of grace will continue to arrive regardless of what we're doing right now.
That's true.
And this is so crazy. We've been given so much, and why in the world would we be given another chance? And we can see it in our chickens.
That's right.
When they get just greedy and demanding, and they're being crazy. They live in chicken paradise.
That's true.
And there's 19 billion chickens lined up for a chance at a backyard chicken life.
Oh yeah.
And how are we exactly like that?
We as humanity.
We as humanity. And then that's item number 38, forgetting to look for how I am exactly like that. And often we can see dysfunctions in others.
That's true.
We forget that they are there to show us how our errors look. And we forget to look for how I'm exactly like that. That's a really important error. And then I'd really like to just get through a couple more of these because these are so crucial. There's forgetting to look for the gifts of the situations. Forgetting to look for the gifts. There's always something that can be gleaned from everything. There's always a gift. The silver lining, to look for the silver lining, to look for what's good in the situation. And the worse the situation is, the more important it is to look for the gifts. And our Ra once assigned us to find 77 gifts of a certain situation.
That's right.
It was a very difficult situation.
That's
and
right.
Through that process, it was very healing to try to find 77 gifts of the situation. And the first day we could only find 1.
That's right.
But we tried again the second day and we could find another couple.
That's right.
And then 2 or 3 more every day, and eventually we did get to the point that it's like it feels like your heart is cracking open and joy is pouring out.
That's true. Ara used to say the more challenging the situation is, the more important that you find an even longer list of things to be grateful for it.
Yes, he would assign 10 gifts of the situation for a situation that was challenging,
Yeah.
of a reasonable caliber, and the harder the situation, the larger the number would be. Find X number of gifts of the situation.
That's right.
And another error is choosing to be grumpy.
That's true.
Our attitudes are the only things we have choice over. And then this error was coming up today, so I would really like to include it as wrong frames of reference.
Oh, that's true.
And forgive the language, but inadvertent assholery.
That's true.
Where we're being an asshole and we don't mean to be an asshole.
But we are definitely being.
Definitely being an asshole. So we've covered 36 through 45, and we've covered 1 through 6, and we have 7 to 35 left, so there's another 28 not covered. But are you getting a sense of the problems? And what planets that have all of that going wrong and still have karma delayed until after death, what of them have been successfully turned around, and what were the turnaround tricks? And we have a prayer. Please may we have an experiment of weekly karma, each of us for ourselves, for Ground Zero Planet Earth, and for all who pass through Ground Zero Planet Earth, each of us for ourselves. An experiment of weekly karma, please.